Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about every single episode of Torchwood. I finished reviewing the series a couple weeks ago on the tube, so here I am to talk about every single one. I think I'll combine the last two into one spot to save spots, because then you won't be able to see anything. So let's start off with Season 1, Episode 1. Everything Changes. I think this one's a pretty good premiere for the show. It's one of the few episodes that Russell T Davies wrote within the first two seasons, and it's it has its moments. It's I think my main problem with it is the way that they introduce Owen by immediately trying to date rape someone. That's a little fucked up, and it makes it hard to sympathize with him for the other 25 episodes he's in. So I think that scene was unnecessary. It's kind of like we're rated R Doctor Who. We could do sex and say the word fuck, which I think a lot of season one has a problem with. It acts all gritty without actually having anything of substance. So I do think episode one, pretty good way of introducing the series. Reminds me a lot of, say, Rose, except it's Gwen. How Gwen kind of gets introduced to the world of Torchwood. C is kind of like the viewer in this case. So I think, you know, pretty good series premiere. I like Susie. Kind of wish they kept her around longer, but you know, it's okay. They probably gave Susie like 5 spin-offs and Big Finish by now, so I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, moving on to episode 2, we have Day 1. Not to be confused with Children of Earth Day 1, which is a great episode. This one is an awful episode. What an awful way to start the main series. So this is the one with the sex gas that has sex with you and then kills you. It's a really real episode. It's written by Chris Chibnall, which isn't really surprising because he always makes like the really bad ones. It's it's like I said, like season one, it's edgy for the sake of being edgy without really having much substance. Like there's this scene with the sex gas makes out with Gwen for no reason, and then she's like, "No, it has to be a man." It's like, why'd you make out with her then? He's just like being a slut. I don't know. It's really weird. Moving on to Ghost Machine, not to be confused with Ghost in the Machine. This is the one where Gwen travels back to the 40s and she sees this like little boy on in this railroad station. It's a pretty good episode. I like the design of the creature. The creature looks really good, but it's not the most memorable episode. So it's been like a few years since I've seen season one. But I remember liking this one. It was like, okay, well, that was better than the last one, and it's better than the next one. Next one is Cyberwoman, the worst episode of the series. This episode's ridiculous. Like, low key ruins the Cybermen. It's written by Chris Chibnall. At least it gives death to Yanto's character, but I don't know why they made the Cyberwoman so sexualized with little big metallic boobs. I don't know why they decided to do that. Seems like a very strange choice. The less said about this episode, the better. Moving on to Small Worlds. Reveal, I do not remember this episode at all. Let's see. Yeah, this is the... I do not remember this episode at all. So I don't remember hating it. I don't remember loving it. It's going to be a C minus. Moving on to episode 6. This is Countryside. I remember liking this one. This is one of the few Chris Chibnall episodes I actually did like. So this is the one where there's like all these murders and all these disappearances in the countryside, hence the title. So they go to this creepy ass farm, um, and this creepy village who like cannibalizes people. It's really fucked up, but I like how they actually like They actually use the rated R rating to tell a new story instead of just tell a basic story that just has the word fuck in it. So I think it's pretty disturbing. What is happening with my cats right now? My cats are fighting, ignore that. I like at the end when it takes a psychological toll on Gwen. I really like that when things actually get to the characters. So that one's pretty good. Episode 7, Greek sparing gifts. Yeah, this one's okay. Um, Tosh dates this woman who is secretly, she's like this alien thing, and she gives Tosh this little medal, and when Tosh wears it, she could read other people's minds. And I like how it shows kind of how Tosh is insecure about things, about if people like her or not. It's also jealousy of Gwen. It's also character flaws. So her reading other people's minds ironically tells us more about Tosh than it does on other people. So I think that's really interesting. Um, I just felt bad for Tosh. She doesn't really get that many episodes in the spotlight, so this is one of the few ones. So I enjoyed it. But the plot itself was it's okay, I guess. Moving on to episode 8, they keep killing Susie. So this one, Susie from episode 1, is brought back to life to help with an old case, and then she kind of turns rogue, and like they reference the meta element of the show where Gwen takes Susie's place, so now Susie's trying to take Gwen's place literally. So Gwen gets weaker and weaker, and Susie gets stronger and stronger because he's draining her life force. And then that's pretty good. I like the climax of the episode because despite Susie not being a good person, you also feel kind of bad for her because see, it's human. She doesn't want to die, you know. So I don't know. I think she's a selfish character, but also you pity her at the same time. Moving on to random shoes. This one's a pretty good episode. It's about this. It's a one-off episode. It's from the perspective of the side character who's never seen or hasn't been seen before or after, how he dies, and he tries to help Torchwood solve his death after he dies. So it's basically like a ghost story, but it's also kind of sad because it shows him reflecting on life. I think that's a pretty good episode. Moving on to Out of Time, which is one of my favorite Torchwood episodes. I really like this one. This is where Jack and Tosh get sent back to the 40s, where they meet the real Jack Harkness, the guy that, when Jack landed in the 40s in Series 1 of Doctor Who, he took his identity. We find out what happened to him. He falls in love with Jack, and then he goes after Vol, gets PTSD, then gets executed for it. So it's a very sad episode, and it uses the time travel premise of the show to great avail. I really like that one. Moving on to Combat. Oh god, this one sucks. This is the one where it's like Fight Club, except with Revels. So Owen just loves fighting Revels, and it's really stupid, and I don't like it. Moving on to Captain Jack Harkness. Let's see, what even happened in this one? Oh, shit. Okay, Captain Jack Harkness is the one I thought was Out of Time. Out of Time was the one about the lady in the plane who was from the 50s and went to Earth. And falls in love with Owen, and it's really sad. Out of Time is really good. I think that's a great episode. So I got these two confused. Out of Time, you would think that would be Jack going, but whatever. Out of Time was still a really good episode. I liked it a lot. Kind of sad because he lost her family and friends, and she decides to just go off in the void again. Guess he doesn't feel at home in the 21st century. So I think it's a very beautiful story, very sad story, and makes Owen a little bit more likable after the premiere, which kind of makes him hateable. Moving on to End of Days. This one's okay. So it starts off with Reese dying, but then he gets like reversed. There's this huge beast that's been built up to the entire season, and it gets defeated like really easily in classic Chibnall fashion. But I still really enjoyed the finale, basically because I like the character writing of Gren. Like after losing Reese, he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna cheat on you anymore, which she shouldn't have done to begin with. But lesson learned, I guess. You don't know. You really don't know what you got until it's gone. But yeah, Jack defeating the villain by screaming at it like, and it sucks up his life energy is kind of stupid. But I like the design of the villain. I think it's kind of funny how nobody mentions this giant ass villain in the middle of rails for like the rest of the series. But you know what? That stuff happens all the time in this. So moving on to season 2, we have Kiss, Kiss, Bang. I'm just gonna call it KKBB to save space. This is the one where we meet Angel from Buffy, John something. What's his name? John Holt. John. It's not John Masters. I forgot his name, but he's in it. He brings this whole new dynamic to season 2. We see how the characters have changed since. Captain Jack is still reeling from the events of the series 3 Doctor Who finale with the Master. Gwen is engaged. Yanto kind of misses Jack. At least there's some stuff between those guys. But yeah, pretty good way to start the season. One of Chibnall's better episodes. Like I said, season 2 is a huge step up from season 1. Let's see what else happened. Okay, so Danger. Is this the one with like the people go crazy and start killing everybody? I literally do not remember this one at all. You know what? I'm getting rid of Small Roads because I don't even remember that one. I don't remember Sleeper. Let's see. My memory is so hazy. It's been like 2 years since I watched these, so give me a break, guys. Episode 3, they keep this guy named Tommy in a cryogenic sleep and they wake him up every year. Literally do not remember that one. Meat. Meat's a good one because I remember Meat. Okay, Meat is where they the Gwen's personal life and professional lives finally cross paths. So Reese is the one to discover the mystery, and he seeks out Gwen, and Gwen's like, "Yeah, I'm in Torchwood." She doesn't say it like that. But I thought I think it's pretty good because there's a lot of good scenes between Reese and Gwen in this one, and it really develops Reese as a character rather than just Gwen's boyfriend or Gwen's fiance. So yeah, it's a pretty good episode. Adam's a really memorable one. I like Adam. So this is the one. It's like basically an episode of Rick and Morty, where like this. Okay, he comes into the episode and pretends like he's been there the entire time and fucks with everybody's memory, so they think that he's always been there. I think that's a really unique presence. Torchwood did it before Rick and Morty did, but I think Rick and Morty's is more of a comedic thing. Adam is more of a kind of action thriller thing. Moving on to Reset. This sees the triumphant return. Why is that so big? Jeez. This sees the triumphant return of Martha, last seen in the season 3 finale of Doctor Who. So she joins the cast for like 3 episodes, and I don't know. I love Martha, so it's really nice seeing her. They have that huge shocker at the end where Owen is killed. He's like shot to death, but just like Jack, just like Jack, he gets brought back in the next episode. Reset. No, the next episode is called Dead Man Walking. This one's pretty good as well. Why is that white? What is wrong with this? This episode's pretty good. It shows Owen being brought back to life and to help them solve a mystery, but he doesn't die. He stays alive, except he's not like alive like Jack is. He's like undead. So anytime something happens, he just stays like mortally wounded. So he really has to watch himself. He can't eat. He can't sleep. He can't do anything. He can't have sex. Literally can't do anything. But yeah, that's a crazy episode. It kind of leads into episode 9, which makes it hard for me to realize like where did episode 7? Oh no, it leads into episode 8, which makes it kind of hard for me to realize like where episode 8 and episode 7 ended and where episode 8 began. So I'm just gonna group these together as one episode. This is the one where Owen has like his really good speech when he breaks into the thing because he's not afraid to die at this point. He's already dead and he's feeling kind of depressed. So he has that huge like, "I'm Owen Harper and fuck you," that whole thing. That's a really good scene. I think the actor plays Owen is fantastic in this series, and despite me not really liking the character that much, I think he did a great job. It's also the last time we see Martha. I mean, it's not the last time we see Martha because it comes back in Doctor Who, but like for Torchwood, it's the last time we see Martha. So that was cool. I like how she kisses Jack even though she has a fiance. Like entering Torchwood automatically makes you a slut, so it's kind of weird. Moving on to Something Borrowed. I'm just gonna write SB. So this one's a really good episode. It's with Jack. It's Gwen's wedding day, except she's pregnant with like an alien baby that's gonna destroy her. So after the crazy like kind of depressing last 3 episodes, we have a silly episode. And, I think we needed this. The last 3 Owen, Death, and Resurrection episodes have been brutal. So seeing this one again, um, seeing this one is a lot, it's a nice little break before things get real. I like how Gwen's like parents get involved and whole like it. I like when she shoots the alien with the gun hidden behind the flowers. And her, affirming her love for Owen. And Jack's kind of jealous, but it's like, Jack, you've been with like 50 different women, so does it really matter? Moving on to episode 10, Out of the Gate, Out of the Rain, sorry, from Out of the Rain. I'm just going to put rain. This one kind of sucks. It's like, it's like this movie theater where Jack's in the movie, like, because it's a really old movie. But also the people from the movie come to life and start killing people. It's kind of lame. Movie theater episodes. Honestly, Doctor Who did a pedal in the newest episode, Lux. But yeah, the episode itself, not a good one. I'd skip it if I was rewatching the show. Okay, moving on to Adrift, which I think is one of the best episodes. I could not believe. Did Chris Chibnall write this one? I cannot believe Chibnall wrote this one. It's so good. So it's about this missing teenager who goes missing, and Gwen decides to investigate, and Jack's like, "You don't want to talk. You don't want to investigate. It'll only disturb you." And it does. It turns out that like a lot of missing people who have gone missing over the years got trapped into time vortex, and they kind of have some mental illnesses because of that. And it's very sad. Like Gwen goes to this entire island of mentally ill people, and she sees this one guy who screams for like 10 hours straight every single day. He's like, "Ah!" That's like really disturbing. So yeah, this one gets points for making me uncomfortable. But yeah, really sad, and kind of shows like there's all these missing cases that never really get solved, and it's tragic. But I don't know. I like when things get to Gwen. I It makes her very human, and that's what I've always appreciated about Gwen. Despite her faults, she's always been shown to be very empathetic, and for her to see all these miserable people, it's very sad. Moving on to the two-part finale, Fragments and Exit Wounds. Fragments is a really good one because it finally explains how Jack got into Torchwood, how Tosh got into Torchwood, how Yanto got into Torchwood, and how Owen got into Torchwood. All of them have very tragic backstories, especially Tosh. Um, Tosh is a really sad backstory. So does, well, I mean, Yanto does because we already knew about his cyber girlfriend, but him and Jack floating was so cute, like at the beginning, and shows how like strong of a bond they have towards the end. So this is a really good one. I don't know. I really love that one. It shows how deep and developed all of these characters are. The depth they lacked in season one is completely made up for in season two, especially with this episode. Which makes it even more sad in Exit Wounds. This episode broke me, man. So Angel from Buffy's back, and it turns out he's not the bad guy. He's being controlled by Jack's younger brother, who he thought died, but isn't dead, and he went crazy. So Jack has to like bury himself alive for like 200 years or something, um, because he like buries him. It's awful. And then at the end of the episode, when you think they've won, Jack's evil younger brother kills Tosh, and Tosh was going to save Owen. So Tosh and Owen both die in very traumatic ways. Owen basically explodes in this nuclear reactor. Tosh gets shot in the stomach and slowly bleeds out. I didn't really care that Owen died, but Tosh, man, I love Tosh. Rest in peace. You were great, and the show was never really the same without you. That was a really tragic way to end season two. Like Doctor Who wouldn't. I mean, Doctor Who killed off Adric, but nobody really liked Adric. They cut off Sarah Kingdom, but she wasn't really on that long. Doctor Who would never do this, something this disturbing, like a way to kill off a character like this. It takes guts, you know? Where were these guts when Chibnall was actually the writer of Doctor Who? Nowhere to be found. I gotta say. Season 2 of Torchwood was amazing, and the finale was probably one of the best episodes of the entire series. Moving on to Children of Earth. Just gonna put all 5 episodes like that. Children of Earth was a great television miniseries. It stands out its own, but I think it helps if you watch the first 2 seasons. So all of the children of Earth have been mind controlled by this alien called the 456, and we don't know why or what their plan is. So the mystery kind of slowly unravels the seeds of it, and we find out that they want to use 10% of the children and use them as drugs, but they want them willingly. So it has all these ethical dilemmas where, like, Congress is getting together, like, okay, which 10% are we going to give away? The stupid ones, the poor ones, rich ones. And so that's all sorts of fucked up. We have Jack getting blown up and his body, like, horrifically piecing itself back together, which is one of the most disturbing scenes in the history of the show. Like, he doesn't have any skin, so it's just this, like, skeletal system screaming. It's awful. Man, that episode sucks. I mean, it's good, but like, man, we have Yanto dying tragically, and it's funny because like when you thought he was like when it first happened, my dad was like, "They're not gonna kill Yanto because they already killed Tosh and Owen. They're gonna kill 3 main characters." And I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right." He wasn't right. Yanto died tragically in Jack's arms. Rest in peace, Yanto. You were awesome. Still not over it. And then to make it even worse, we have Peter Capaldi killing his family and then himself because he feels like they're better off dead than tortured through the 456. And it's really so sad because if he waited like 10 more minutes, he wouldn't have had to do that and they would have been fine. That's awful. I hate the Prime Minister in the series who like convinced Peter Capaldi to do that. That was awful. It's a very tragic character. Capaldi's performance in the season was fantastic. Man, he is such a good actor playing so many different types of characters between Malcolm Tuckle, John Fodersaw, the Doctor, the guy from Pompeii, the guy from Christopher Robin. I don't think I've seen him in anything else. And then to make it even worse, Jack realizes the only way to stop the 456 is by horrifically killing his grandson, like electrocuting him. So that's awful. Ruins his relationship with his daughter forever. Seeing an 8-year-old boy being electrocuted to death is pretty disturbing to watch. But yeah, what a way to end the season. Man, Russell was in a mood when he wrote this season. He was like, man. Okay. Sorry, I had to take a moment. Moving on to season 4, Miracle Day, which again, I'm going to make one big episode. So this one, they kind of did the serialized format, except instead of 5 episodes, it's 10 episodes. I think it suffered for it because those. I think it starts off really good. It ends really good. The middle, nothing really happens at all. Very fillery. So in this one, no, everybody stops dying except Jack, who can't die, and it kind of like shows how the government deals with this, and of course, you know, the government deals with it awfully by putting people in internment camps. And yeah, it's a lot of disturbing stuff. Like when people die, but they don't stay dead. So like the lady from Severance walks away with like her head twisted around in this really horrifying way, but she can't like die. And then there's this other lady who's like a good guy, this like news reporter lady who gets like exploded basically, like sets on fire or something like really horrific, but you can still feel everything. That's awful. I really like Mekhi Phifer's character. He was really good. Um, he kind of filled the gap. Well, he didn't fill the gap left by Yanto because I still prefer Yanto, but he was still a really good character. He had like I like somebody with like some really big conflict with Jack, who kind of called out with Jack on like his morality issues. Gwen is kind of man, she has like some PTSD from the first 3 seasons of the show. You just feel really bad for her the entire time. She still has a badass moments, but like man, I love Gwen. She's one of my favorite characters. I like Esther. I started off hating Esther, and then I liked her towards the end. She grew on me, and then they killed her off. Which, I'm not even surprised at this point. Toto just loves killing people off. The ending was pretty good. I like that redhead bitch, like the crazy lady who tried to get power by any means necessary. Reminded me of like a Lannister working with the family of aliens. I just wish they had a more conclusive ending because they set up a season 5 that like leads directly from Miracle Day, and then the show just ends forever, and that's the end of the show. I don't know if Big Finish addresses the ending of Miracle Day, but I don't know. I shouldn't have to buy an audio book to see what happens next, especially when they cost $40 each volume. Hopefully, Torchwood comes back someday now that Russell's back in charge, unless Doctor Who gets canceled again, which might happen. I don't know. But yeah, if this tells you one thing, Torchwood was always kind of inconsistent. He had some good episodes, he had some bad episodes, but I feel like the characters were always on point, except for Owen. He kind of bugged me. So if I had to rank the seasons, I would go 3, Children of Orthia. 2, season 2, and then Miracle Day, and then season 1. What do you guys think? How do you think the Tortured episodes / the Tortured seasons? I'm sorry I completely forgot the plots of like 2 or 3 of these episodes. But like I said, it's been a few years since I've seen the first couple seasons, so please forgive me. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.